Welcome back, everybody, here to Power Rangers vs. No Diggity, your best of 5 grand final for the European qualifier for EPICENTER. Game number 2, as No Diggity have a 1-game advantage on the back of a solid draft, solid execution, and we'll just see how solid their game number 2 draft can be. Power Rangers, no swindles, you're looking for something nice and a risey, their draft.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's not that Arise is even bad. Arise is like super talented player. It's just that the way you play heroes like Bat and Puck and the way you play, Invoker OD is just totally different. I looked through No Diggity's matches, like, very aware of this. So, if you look at the lineups they play, it's Invoker Lone Druid and, I don't know, Ember Spirit Puck one game. Then the one game they had Bat, they had a Spectre. So, they run traditionally like very high dual core lineups. They ran Wind Ranger, Zeus Slark, blah blah blah. But they understand like what to pick for their players, and I think that in this situation, Arise is the guy you want playing like on a core, split pushing, farming. Like, don't put him in a position where suddenly he's made to do things around the map. I think that in PR's case, like, that's really a Cheshire Cat and support thing to do. And they're very talented at that. And in addition, Goddamn is way more active as a carry than someone like Ira is, as an example. Also to note, No Diggity had selection in the first game and chose Radiant. This game, PR had selection, chose Pick, No Diggity once again choosing Radiant. So they actually value Radiant over all else. And obviously PR, like I'd say 80 to 90% of Dota teams, they just like their first pick. So just curious thing.
Kind of surprising you do that, because a lot of teams prefer having like the access to Roshan, so on and so forth. But maybe it's also because the way Diggity approach it. I noticed they feel, well, maybe it's not they just feel it, but they look to be more comfortable when they push early tier 1 towers when they come from the Radiant.
Radiant team pick.
There's no logical explanation for it. It just like it seems to always work out a little bit better for them.
Also a better off lane.
Ah, true. So yeah,
maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah, that actually could be a big thing to do. Keizu, we keep on saying like this guy finding space. He keeps finding levels, and then the rest of his team make space for him to use more levels. Yeah, maybe that's part of it.
I think the way PR addresses this team is you should pressure. I think you make sure there's a good matchup middle and pressure the lanes so that Keizu is either in an unfavorable 1v1 or just zoned out entirely. And I like contesting Ira just because I think that he plays much better when he's ahead. And in addition, that denies Yapstor the ability to rotate around and make all of these problems for PR's game. So I think they need to address the laning stage a little better. They're going to actually run Chen Bat themselves into the first pick OD of PR, and I like that opener a lot, actually, although I haven't seen No Diggity run Chen once. Although they did, sorry, I forgot. They picked it in game 1 and 3 against PR in the previous time they played, in the winner's bracket final, so I take that back.
The wonderfully, epically long series one?
So they were 1-1 with it. I think it's mostly, one, it's just a super strong hero. By far the highest ELO on this patch. It averages like a 70% win in competitive play. So Chen is like stupid high power level right now. Although a lot of those wins were before the exchange, to be fair. But it's also just obviously PR's comfort. They first picked it last game. They're going to go Void with the OD. I don't like that too much. It's solid here, but it's more about playstyle. And I just don't think that fits what PR wants to do, which is winning games early. And I think it plays into No Diggity's hands. Like, they know how to play with and against Void.
It's one of these things, too, where I wonder how Power Rangers are trying to read No Diggity's draft. You mentioned in Game 1 and Game 3, the Chen as well as Batrider. That combination itself was picked up in both 1 and 3 in the games. They mixed up the lanes. You actually had in one of the games, Qualifier was actually playing the Batrider in mid, and in another game, Keizu was playing the Batrider in the off lane. So Power Rangers can't even work out exactly how they're going to lane this at the moment. You don't know if you're dealing with early game pressure, or if you're dealing with one of these like, well, we'll be not playing Batrider initiation that the Faceless Void can do something about.
I'm not sure. I will say just that No Diggity's record in the past, like their inception, is like stupid good. And that 3 of their 5 losses have been to OD. So that to me demonstrates just how important the laning phase is to stopping these guys, because I know for a fact that those like pretty talented as a mid player. They banned Clinks as well. They lost for that earlier. I think that's a solid ban.
10
She had
seconds
such a
remaining.
huge streak going as well. Until they battled up against Na'Vi when they went
5
1-1, they were on
seconds
like a 10-game or 9-game win streak. And then they lost to both Empire and Team Spirit in 2-0.
Radiant team pick.
Since then, every result they've had has been 2-1 in their favor. But it hasn't been the easiest of.
I will say in those games, 3 of them had OD on their team, 2 of them had Bat, and then the one game without the OD was just Spirit running a really cheesy Zeus Fury and strat, and they just kind of dumpstered them, but man, I just hope they know how to play
how
this.
is that bad though? Like, that's not even bad, that's just global. You were
10
mentioning that as
seconds
well, where
remaining.
like a lot of teams in the tier 2 and bracket, they
5
steer
seconds
away
remaining.
from these globals and summons that just do all the work for you.
Yep.
Reserve
But
time.
Dota's just so damn hard, dude. Every team
Dire
values
team
different
pick.
heroes. Like, once again, you see any Earth Spirit, it's not banned, it's not picked, they just don't care.
Yep.
And there's no IO, there's no Enigma addressed in this game right now, and if you play against different teams, it's just not the case. So, that's why it's really frustrating me sometimes when people just bring up, like, specific heroes, they're like, oh, you know, this draft's over, but it's so much less about the individual heroes and more about the team strategy and the
10
makeup
seconds
of the
remaining.
draft. So, like Void as an example, theoretically it's good against Chen and
5
Batrider,
seconds
but
remaining.
in practice, style of these teams, I don't think it's a good pick for
Reserve
PR.
time.
The same way I don't think putting a Rise on Puck or Bat is solid. So that's why, like, when you study teams, it's not so much the heroes. It's okay, what are they doing with these heroes? What player is the impact player? Who struggles when he gets behind? Where do they ward and rotate early on? What towers did they value higher than others? You know, just dumb shit like that. But anyway, moral of the story is Dota's hard. But they go Wyvern.
Radiant
I am not a
team
fan of
pick.
that, but it is stupid anti-push and stupid good team fight as well.
I won't disagree with that, but is this really the synergy you're looking for with a Faceless Void?
Actually, I like it more than big AoE ultis that have a damage component because it revolves around you having good timing to actually do the damage, but if they can turn around a Wyvern ulti into a Void ult, it could be just absolutely insane. And
10 seconds
we'll see.
remaining.
But Wyvern is very good against Chen, so it's almost
5 seconds
warranting a pick
remaining.
in that alone. The difference is that unlike last game where they had a Mirana roaming around,
Reserve
Wyvern's
time.
offensive capabilities are pretty limited. You might be able to fly in for a gank on mid for the OD, but you don't really combo off the Imprison, you don't combo off the Void ulti. You're solely counter initiation and anti-push. They're gonna go
Dire
Night Stalker.
team
That's an
pick.
off-play Night Stalker.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. I like it here.
that means you actually get the mid Batrider out from Qualifier, and that leaves the last hero. The question mark will be Iris.
Enchantress.
Iris last hero, and an Enchantress. Well, we
Radiant
get to
That's
watch.
a very good pick.
We get to have the battle between the Enchantress and Chen for creep supremacy, and also the battle with the Faceless Void and the Enchantress
Oh.
combo together. That's
Man,
such a good one.
I don't want to bring this up because my brother might be really bad at
10
me. Let me make sure
seconds
he's awake
remaining.
real quick because there's a really strange interaction we discovered that I don't know is
5
public yet.
seconds remaining.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just leak it. Okay, it's fine. It's really, really stupid. It might be a
Reserve
bug,
time.
but we discovered that if if Enchantress runs into your jungle, right? Okay, he's got his W up. He's got 2 creeps. He's got an Ursa. It doesn't matter. And Chen takes a creep from Enchantress. Enchantress can use his creep taking ability back on that creep, but it won't have any effect, and it will still go on cooldown. So the Ench-Chen interaction
team
isn't as
back.
biased towards Enchantress as you would expect for that reason alone. Because if both the heroes have their cooldowns up, then Ench actually can't take a Chen creep. Like, it's really weird, but
Wait, so if you've
happens.
used Persuasion,
10 seconds
then she can
remaining.
take your creep. But if you haven't used Persuasion, can't
5
take your creep.
seconds
if
remaining.
Chen takes a creep from Enchantress, and then Enchantress tries to take it back,
Yeah.
the ability
Reserve
Enchant
time.
will go on cooldown, and you will not receive control of the creep.
okay, so when something is persuaded, it will be forever persuaded.
If it's taken from the Enchantress.
Okay. She can enchant an already persuaded creep as long as it's not taken from the Enchantress.
Believe so, but
Seems
can't take
really
in
odd.
anything back. It is odd, But
Radiant
yeah,
team
that's
pick.
what happens. So we didn't know if it was a bug or not, and we like pretty much just held on to that information. But I don't know. It probably should be fixed because it seems like a bug because the ability goes on cooldown and it does nothing. So
That's
I think we told Bruno about that. I'm not sure, but
that's
they still haven't
definitely a
fixed
bug
it.
because if you can't actually get control of the creep back, then you should still be slowing the creep. Still have the enchant slow being
10
applied.
Yeah,
seconds
it should do
remaining.
something.
Yeah, as opposed to just like
also-
set an ability on cooldown.
5 seconds remaining.
Forgot to talk about the draft, but they need a super high damage output here on No Diggity right now.
Reserve
They had
time.
banned the Slark themselves, so I don't know. It's interesting. I don't like the Alk here. I think they might potentially run a Spectre. It's an Era hero. What would Era play here? Maybe a Gyro. Maybe PL.
Drow
PL's
Ranger.
pretty good here. Or ooh, Drow. Okay.
Dire team
I'm a little concerned with that pick, to be honest.
Considering like Faceless Void can easily close distance, OD can do the same kind of thing. I'm okay with it if you actually get a 5-fall. Like if that actually comes from No Diggity and the Night Stalker is able to get his Aghanim Scepter, the draw range you can play from the back lines, and the auras you're going to be having coming out of No Diggity are going to be
10
so
seconds
damn good for
remaining.
pushing. And that's where draw range's strength is, like taking out those early
5
tier 1
seconds
and
remaining.
pushing through to tier 2 towers so the Chen army can remain alive as well. Even with Winter Wyvern on the field, it's direct damage into
Reserve time. 10
Wyvern's
seconds
like actually
remaining.
so good against Drow though. Anything you Wyvern ulti just kind of dies. And the issue with
5
this Drow
seconds
pick is that
remaining.
traditionally, if you watch people play this, like EG for example, with really high CC heroes like or Secret, they'll do it with like Disruptor or Lion or something, and they'll have at least 2 or 3 ranged sources of damage. Whereas in this game, the only heroes that are really going to be able to stand still and auto attack are the Drow. Like as an example, Drow Furion is typically what people will run because you, at very least, you have 2 clicking damage dealing heroes, and then there'll be like a Visage. Whereas in this game, you have a hard 5 Venge, Night Stalker, a Bat, like Bat and Chen just aren't auto attackers. You know, you can't even auto attack when you're last doing something. So they have one source of damage here. PR knows this, like they literally just have to get onto the Drow, and they'll most likely win the fight. A lot of it's going to come down to the laning phase. Once again, we got Bignum on a jungler, and I mean, we will see. Void should have a kind of a tough time, especially against an early point in silence,
10
but
seconds
the game will once
remaining.
again come down to tempo control. If PR gets going, takes early towers, I don't see
5
any hope for
seconds
Dignitas.
remaining.
Or, wow, sorry, no Diddy. Yeah, and the Chen versus Ench, like that'll really be what determines game, in my opinion. And I will say Arise on DP again, so, or not again, but you know,
Prepare
it is a
for
hero
battle.
that will allow him to scale, and I think this is stronger for them. They're in a dual core setup. Really, really good team fight. Like, I can't underestimate. Like, Wyvern will ult something, Drow will kill it, and then there might be a Void ulti on top. So, pushing as 5 for No Diggity will be really tough, which, again, goes to the weakness of their draft, because if you have a Furion, it's not a big deal. You just split the whole game. But their draft is, I think it's solo pickoffs, but they don't really have anything other than Drow that can pressure towers. See, there's a Chen, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. PR, they look in a good spot. They're doing what they didn't do in last game, but they did in almost every other previous game that was cast. There's Cinder will break the smoke, there's OD Imprisonment, and there should be First Blood. Cinder just want to have a look. They have an Observer Ward over in the lane. Maybe that's the reason why Cinder felt a little bit more confident about this, but it's a standard PR move at the start when they play Dire Side. Find First Blood. Where Cinder needed a way to get back to base to summon the courier that Yapsor bought and left inside his stash, so he needed to be dropped. But then Yapsor looks like got back at the same time, so hey, not great. PR's actually going to get both runes. They're going to get both bounty runes. Kuiper's on the way out now. They can see him with the
The
orbs.
battle begins.
Yeah, he's not getting either of these. It's going to be Goddamn as well as Arise, who will pick up both of the bounty runes.
It's a really good start for PR. You don't need a degree to see that, though. And Void is actually doing something really smart. He's hiding in the trees, and then he'll be able to pull the creep wave. So this guarantees his first wave or two will be really nice. Oh, they
Oh.
paused. Okay, that's unfortunate, but there is a boots first on Venge, but he went W first already. Okay. Man, I didn't want to do this, but people ask me about No Diggity all the time, right? And well, the main thing I say is, like, they've got talent, they can definitely get better, but I don't see them being, like, a team that can actually compete for LAN wins, and I think a big part of that is because Synderen has to get better. Like, he's needed on the team. 5, he's a good drafter and captain, but he needs to just play way more Dota because he makes consistently like getting caught there. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but like they're smoking. You know they smoke every game. You go boots first for that reason, and you just kind of run in and get astraled. It's just you can't skill your W here either. It's just
this is something that's that Danish Bears were also doing in yesterday's series. Like when they went up against the Faceless Void, as opposed to going for the burst damage against the Faceless Void, players are moving further towards having the 0-1-1 build. You get the damage and you get the negative armor, and then you do like the consistent damage that way. Faceless Void, as opposed to having the magic missile controller. At that point though, you actually no, it wasn't them, was it? It was actually Power Rangers who did it. It was Power Rangers that did it, because they did it on their core. It was the one position offlaner that went Wave of Terror, Vengeance Aura, and then the next 3 points all went into Magic Missile. But it was that waited to battle against the safe lane Void.
I got you.
So in a way it makes sense, but yeah, getting picked off for a normal Power Rangers move, maybe not so great.
I mean, that's just kind of the curse of the captain, you know? You're always thinking about a billion things at once. Sometimes you just casually run out of position. I've had it happen to me. The other thing, I just want to bring up other things that No Diggity needs to work on, just so it doesn't make it sound like Cinderen's like their only problem, but the Era and Koifa are like the same player, which is okay right now in this meta, but what if suddenly someone's playing puck, like someone's S4 and someone else is trying to be, or anti-mage every game again, or Naga, you know? And then in addition, Keizu's like really inexperienced and needs to play a lot more competitive games. Same with the App Store really, but it's mostly just that they seem to me that they only have one player in the App Store who's really comfortable making plays, making things happen. So you'll notice that when he has a bad game, much like Fear and EG, then they suffer a lot. And in addition, the main thing is just their 1 and their 2 are very similar in playstyle and also very greedy. So you're in situations where suddenly, like right now, I'd say Ira and Koifa are probably two most mechanically talented players in this game, but you go up against these top teams and suddenly you're not only not stronger, but you're probably a weaker player. And when your whole team strategy revolves around you and the other core player being ahead, being outmatched 1 versus 1 can really hurt you. So definitely a team with potential, but they need to go to lands and lose them, and then they'll really be able to improve. But I'm telling you, like, losing lands is like the best training you can get. Like, you really need to have that happen to you before you can even get close to approaching tier 1 status.
Is that the reason why Secret's going to win ESL 1 coming up?
I mean, they might. You never know. I don't even know who's going to ESL 1. Let me look at that. I'm going to that tournament. I should probably know.
I was waiting for you to say it. Am I actually going to that tournament? Because if you don't know who's going...
Dude, we're going to be the most traveled team at this. Actually, wow, this is a really good land. It's eHome, Liquid, Secret, Fnatic, Mineski, Empire, Wings.
Yeah.
So I think Fnatic, Secret, Liquid are all like top 5 teams right now. Like, I don't know if you know, like, Fnatic has been shitting on people. I've been actually studying them over all other teams right now.
Yep.
Because they just win. They just win everything. They've won their last, like, 25 games.
I hear it comes down to a magical coach. And the funny thing is they've been doing a lot of it without
Mushi.
Yeah. Because he's been...
the one player that people know and think is good. You know, oh, Mushi's team, it'll be good, but... Then he just like gets benched for health, and they get better. It's just crazy. But yeah. I think again, I mean, last point on this before we actually talk about Dota, the poll will go off here, is that Dota is way more about teams, and it's not about big names anymore. It's who's got the best team, and I think that is beautiful.
Does Complexity have the best team?
Yeah, but we're trying. They're gonna get lane control bottom. This is actually super big now, because now they can just orb walk this void out of lane, because they already used this leash.
Yeah. Actually do such a decent amount of damage. Once both the auras start kicking in, because that's always the beauty of it, right? You actually get the precision aura, and then Syndrome will have the vengeance aura. The damage increase onto the BS, what's gonna be like an extra 15, 17 points of damage?
Okay though, because they got the double archer going, so it's actually really good for Void, and they've got a Cyclone coming down from this end. This hard camp was not, so we'll get a Centaur too. Unfortunately, no Satyr spawn. Otherwise, this would be like a it's just so stupid, man. He gets the worst creep instead of the best one. So instead of just chasing this Venge away, forcing it out of the lane completely, he just kind of can't do anything.
Actually, a couple of times. Chen got the Satyr against Arise. So Qualifier will have the advantage a bit, but it's a death prophet, so what do you want to do?
You see, do you get he forces a health pot with the creep. By it, like just that's it. It's just out, man. I like this though.
It's solid play, man. It's you can't bait it. It's really
he's just sniff the nuke that he gets caught. Like you can't avoid them. So he's forced all his regen.
gonna throw out the last one. There it is. He actually had to burn through his stick charges as well. He's had enough. He's actually gonna Spirit Siphon the Satyr. The hilarious thing is that, yeah, that happens. He just gets another one. He actually just managed to persuade another one to his cause.
Balance Dota 2.
Qualifier?
He's
he gonna go for this? Yeah,
I would go
sticky
for it.
napalm, the Firefly is gonna kick up. Arise, he doesn't have enough life to survive this. Qualifiers actually gonna get in underneath the tier 2 tower, take the kill. Meanwhile, Cinderin, dead on the bottom lane. Troll trap from Bignum looks like it held him in position long enough, pumping enough damage to kill off the VS.
Okay, so it's really interesting. Like I like this though because both junglers are making things happen. They're securing one lane, which is kind of what you're looking for. Chen chose middle and Chantress chose bottom. So I think both teams are shutting down the hero they want to. The only thing is that they're actually pressuring Drow pretty heavily. The only problem is this bat. Like you don't really want to deal with a bat who's super over leveled, or one that's able to punish middle that hard, but he only really kills the DP there because he had no drain and he had no wand charge time, so...
That's obviously because of the Satyr, because he ended up using his Brain Over on him.
He's went for the Iron Talon, and he's gonna be doing okay here. It's just such a hard lane for him. Like, Wyvern OD is such a problem. But again, like, Wyvern, if he were a different hero, like one with a stun, KZ can't even be here, but because it's just a Wyvern, it's not as scary.
You have to think about it this way, like, the fact that your nighttime is rapidly approaching, like, you're 15 seconds away, sorry, from the nighttime Night Stalker. So the rotations can start to happen as well. Might be a little bit annoyed, just let that Void go, but he did it so J4 couldn't pull the full wave over.
He's gonna grab an Arcane Rune. Look at this Satyr, man. Just hitting him in the face. What's he gonna do?
Nothing. Walk
Still
away.
only level 1 of the 10. So he's solely doing this for his lanes. And he's got a big stack, but nothing to really farm it with right now.
Is he actually gonna...
More Centaurs.
Revenge. Revenge for Cheshire Cat. Absol didn't persuade that Centaur fast enough. So he didn't switch his creep over in time. Hero's really getting up on the face here of Cheshire Cat. Every time he can throw a cold arrow, he's done it. And actually, he prioritizes the arrows as well. He's put is a 2-1-1 build over on the Drow.
I actually can't, I really like that. I really don't like when Drows are super greedy and they just go for like that aura heavy or stat heavy build. I think 2 points in arrows is like all you need. The mana cost doesn't increase, but it doubles the slow from like 15 to 30%. So instead of just, okay, you're poking them and they're still running away, they actually need to get out or you will click that. And now you see a Purge and a Satyr on this Enchantress. Forces the TP from Keizu. It is nighttime, but I don't know if they can really kill him here. He's quick with the Purge, for sure they can.
Here they come. Bignum, old arrows, you can be quick with the Purge, but the silence, Cheshire Cat can't help him out either. Bignum will die. Centaurs are just keeping the, okay, the creep at bay. That's the Chang creep right there.
Good kill, but it's kind of, it is a rotation, so I think that's warranted. I mean, it's a weird, but once again, it's one of those situations where, yes, they get a kill, but they invest so much, kind of need to get that kill to make the rotation worth it. They're actually giving this stack to Bat Rider, by the way, and Chen will take the XP, and that will get Bat super close to the Blink. He's actually only like 400 off. And they have normally, early Blink on Bat isn't super big, but in this game, they have so many heroes that can get a kill off the lasso. specifically Chen. Just
Radiant's
lasso
middle
into
tower
Chen
is
creeps is
under
always
attack.
going to be a kill for sure. And they have two really nice targets to try and take down in the OD and the DP, specifically the DP. The OD is quite farmed though. He's going for the Aquila build that I see a lot of Europe players go for. I think okay actually.
His CS is actually through the roof. You look at the difference between him as well as the Drow Ranger. He's practically double the CS, and he's got more deniers than every other player on the map combined. He is not giving a single iota over, and that's why Cinder and Yapsol now smoke up. They bring in a couple of extra stuns, the Mud Golem, as well. That smoke's not going to last much longer. They get up, but the Dire creep wave is already over. It got pulled to the side. They walk down past this line, they're seen. And Cinderin walked over it. They reveal him off. They know where J4 is. They know he's in the Cyborg mat spot right now. And they're going to walk it in. Wave of Terror, he'll go for the Archer's Burn. You still got the multiple stuns available, but Goddamn's going to help him with the imprisonment. Both stuns were actually committed from the Chen creep, so they won't have enough damage to finish the kill on J4 until now. The Mud Golem split. Can't even get close enough. They have to throw the stun over on Goddamn, and Yapsor can't find his target.
He only has 1 point in aura, by the way, so those orbs are very expensive. Yeah, and just one thing to note, we can't forget, like, Arise got first blood. If he didn't get first blood, this mid lane would have been going so much worse for him, but even though he got killed at the start, he still was able to recover and quickly get his bottle boots up. So his CS is only like 9 behind. It could easily be 20-30 if he doesn't get the first blood, because his bottle would have been super delayed. So it's important we keep that in mind.
This is really well read by PR, except goddamn, I thought it was going to be really good. They're going to back up a Qualifier. He's got the Blink Dagger. He got two oh no! The Lasso won't latch. They're bringing in extra support. Void jumps up. You'll get the Chronosphere over on the Batrider, and Qualifier is in way too deep to have any level of assistance reach him. A rotation up by the Void ensures the kill, and your early reveal, the Blink Dagger, gives you nothing.
And the problem with this Diggity lineup, man, is, again, it's just the same gripe I have with a lot of these teams' drafts. Like, where is their damage output coming from? They have a Drow, but who's going to be doing right-click damage as this game goes on, you know? If you look at the way PR is going to play, it's very simple. That you can see the flow of their team, the synergy, how they're going to take team fights. He's kind of praying that they lasso and kill something, and then, like, what, the rest of the, like, the team just doesn't react, you know? There's no imprisonment. There's no Void ulti in response. DP is not going to just be running in, and I'm concerned for their draft going forward. They still don't have any towers, like, let alone tower pressure. They've done 400 to bottom and 300 to top, but that's about it. And like, Arise hasn't even used an ulti yet, but the pressure will come out soon. Cheshire Cat having a great game, and I think I talked about this in the pregame. Like, him and Bignum are the keys to this game, and they are both having fine games. And look at levels, you know? You see PR with a pretty big advantage, 2 levels above on their knight, on their offlaner, and then their supports are a little bit ahead as well. So, and as we also mentioned, like, the OD is huge.
Are you a big believer, though, of having this Vladimir's aura picking up with the Void? I can understand if you're looking for the timing of PR to force down tier 1 towers on the back of the net. But would it not be better to have something like a Blink Dagger to ensure that, like, the Batrider and the Drone Ranger get snapped every time in a fight? Or one or the other?
But think that it's always just safer to play with auras. I always talk about this like as a motivational thing. If we're like behind in game, but the enemy team just buys blinks, you just say like, "Yo, we're fine. They bought blinks, like we're all good." And the reason is that those items, like, they give you a potential initiation advantage, but they don't actually give you stronger fighting abilities. They don't add to the team fight. They just make it so that you can take better engagements. And normally auras are almost always a safer bet, and in addition, they allow you to accelerate your farm. Avoid with Vlad's, tanks Roach, can solo Ancients. Avoid without Vlad, pretty much just farms lanes exclusively. And in a game like this, when you have an Ench that, as you can see, is taking this bottom lane, you want him to be able to farm the woods more effectively. Also, Blink is, you're going to be initiated on, like they're gunning for Void, the end, so I think that being tankier is never a bad thing.
Go put the tankiness of Orion to the test as now Cheshire Cat jumps forward, Chronosphere catches out 2. Cinderin's here, but he can't really do much apart from stunning up and keeping that control over Orion. He won't trigger X system when Cheshire Cat has to time walk himself out, but that perfect. Aether gets destroyed. Era arrived probably at the wrong time for that. I don't know if that still would have been enough to keep Kaiser alive if Era wasn't there. But they're going to try and turn what Diggity like to do, is take a kill and take a tower directly after. That's the goal here.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It's interesting. If they had let Wyvern TP in, I'm pretty sure they actually saved the TP there. Because as you see, like how broken Wyvern ulti is.
There
goes the tower. Bro's going to get it.
It just happened. Chen took Enchantress's creep and then Chen didn't get it back.
Your cat's going to go down now. bo5, he's in trouble. The flame breaker finds his space. Cinderella, she's swapping goddamn deeper into the Diggity lineup. Yamsov's managed to find 2 hero kills in this one, and they're looking for more. On the back of Big Num, Qualifier double damage and also helped out. There's the Firefly that will do the work to pick off Big Num here at the end. So you not only take 1 tower, you bring 3 heroes down, and all your damage is still available, including a catapult. They could do some chip damage to the tier 2 tower, or they might respect it and back out, because they did lose their top.
Dire's middle tower is
I don't know, man. You just don't fight there if you're PR. No Void ulti, your DP is dead still. Like, there's no reason to do that. You just use Wyvern, try to slow him down, but I don't know. That was a pretty large throw, man. Their advantage just disintegrated. They were up 2k at a point. XP went from 3k to even over the past couple minutes.
Diggity actually has the lead in the net worth now. For the first time in this entire game. Era going for a build I wasn't certain he can actually do. Mask of Madness on the Drow Ranger. This is the kind of thing where, like, it's actually hilarious with the Drow. The amount of damage you can pump out when you just have a Mask of Madness and the Crystallis. It doesn't even need to be a Daedalus. A Crystallis. The amount of damage that you dish out is unbelievable. But if you get caught, you die really fucking fast. PR's actually going to take Roshan. Diggity, not even aware of this. They're not. Okay, the first ping just came out from Era. We can see the ghouls flying around inside the pit, but they're already too late. PR's already got Roshan.
It's a really good move. Really good move. They needed that. Give it to OD as well. One of the best Aegis carriers.
A lot better than the Death Prophet at least. But they're going to force the fight without Exorcism. Down the bottom lane, we are still in nighttime. Darkness is available, but it looks like Diggity have no intention of being there. In fact, they're just looking to push out the top lane. So it's a straight tower for tower trade. Use the time to farm up your other lanes. Push Drow closer towards that level 11, and the increase in everyone's damage.
And you can see Era understands his role. He has to build for massive amounts of damage. If they kill him, his team loses the fight anyway. So you might as well just, you know, add damage, and you know, if you die, you're gonna die. It's sort of the same logic as when Envy buys Rapier on Ember sometimes. Like, if he was gonna die and have to buy back, they would have lost anyway. So you might as well just buy a Rapier, actually allow yourself to win the team fight, and then just bank on outplaying your opponents. I actually agree with it here, because they really lack damage without him.
Yeah. Okay, they're TPing everyone back now. It looks like they're actually TPing back for a smoke maneuver.
Radiant's bottom tower
Diggity were preparing themselves to fight. So I actually thought, like, maneuver. It looked like Diggity were expecting just a tier 1 and tier 2 tower trade-off. Dia then TP back to defend their tier 2 tower. Syndrome prepares these early observer wards. He's been doing this more and more. You ever play up against Diggity? They're playing on Dire's side. You look down at this bottom lane, and you'll always plan a ward right here. Like, right on that X marks the spot. Just close the towers as possible. Circles, you're able to do such a thing. And he's done the same kind of thing, yeah, up here on the top lane. He gets as close as he can to the tower, and far enough away from the normal D-ward spots. It's just it's for one purpose and one purpose alone. Is to push towers down.
One of my favorite wards. It's funny that Dire placed the ones they did, because I actually think a ward right here can kind of accomplish both goals. We learned that from the Chinese team's TI5. They would always play this with Dire, and they...
Right, the circle on the map. We'll teach you to draw in the game. Okay, oh, you're actually doing it.
Oh, yeah, control. Yeah, I'm a player. Right here. It's like in this position, or like in this position, because normally Radiant will like move through this gap, and as you can see, they actually... Like this ward, I just don't like this ward that much. It doesn't see this area, and it doesn't see this area. So there's two pathways into your jungle now that you aren't covering. Bottom lane, they're just going to push bottom hard, but once again, PR will get a trade, and this is good for them. If you're trading towers against this crazy push lineup from Diggity, I think you're A-okay with that. But the one thing that's scary to me, if you're PR, is that you now have a lasso linked to a force staff, and there is no anti-bat on PR's side. So They need to maybe get like a Wyvern ulti counter initiate, which could be sick. Because you can like same frame that, where if you ulti the bat as he force staffs, he just kind of force staffs into his team and then they all just kill him.
Look at the money of Cheshire Cat. He actually bypassed finishing at the Vlad so we can go for the Blink Dagger, so they've got some level of counter to the bat.
I think it's mostly for the Drow though, as you said. Like he can jump onto the Drow when the bat lassos. That's the key. He can't allow bat to just pick a hero and get it killed off. Like he's got to immediately counter initiate. So the whole game's gonna come down to the initiation of Diggity versus the massive anti-initiation of PR. The Astral, Wyvern ulti, the Void ulti, all of these things need to happen. Or rather, one of them has to happen to prevent something like DP or OD from just dying off the bat. Specifically the Death Prophet. He cannot die before he gets the ability off.
At least he's got a little bit more survivability. Now he's picked up that Yule Scepter. Arise has something to work with. If he gets nailed by the Batrider lasso, I wish him the best of luck. And it's not even guaranteed too. Like once you get the Blink Chrono off, Syndra could just swap out the target. He could take out the Faceless Void, swap him even deeper into peril, and then magic missile him up. That's done, he'll waste his entire Chronosphere. The Exorcism won't do enough damage faster. Same for the OD. He doesn't really do a lot of burst damage into a Chronosphere. It takes time to build up intelligence. It looks like PR's going to get a free tower now. The Chen army's going to probably force them back on bottom lane, but that's going to be all.
I understand maybe he's a little afraid, even though they're showing 3 heroes top, but big frustration for me, if you're playing Death Prophet, stand as close to the target you're trying to do damage to as possible. Your ghosts will do more damage because they reach it faster. And he didn't do it there. They do mad. They do a lot of damage to the tier 3. It's a good move. That's really good actually. I like that.
Still gonna have a trade-off though. They have to come back to the bottom lane. So that's a very unusual observable. We'll have a look at it in a moment. When I'm certain that Era's not gonna die. Because right now he's really overstaying his welcome. he's running Void, Leap, Chrono, just on the edge. Era, his Master Command is timed out, however, so he's not taking that really heavy damage. But still, now the Spirit Siphon begins. The Gust try and buy some space. Hand of God, the rest of the support is on its way. But no, the Crypt Swarm will be enough to get the kill. The rest of the support couldn't come in. Cheshire Cat has to actually get out of here before this happens. Flank lasso, drag him down, -6 armor. He'll actually be able to timeless back up again, but Syndra swaps him out. Nice the control on the Faceless Void, which is just so damn good for Syndra now. He won't die for the cause. There's not enough damage from just those heroes around him. In fact, it actually puts J4 in peril because he used the curse and revealed his position. Qualifier is on the chase, but a rising goddamn is here. Support's around the corner, but Qualifier gonna force himself out.
Those were really slow rotations from his teammates. Like, I actually think they could have very easily fought there if his team would run faster. Weird vision. Oh yeah, you were bringing up the Radiant Wards.
This is the Obs. Like, I don't understand. Ob doesn't give any vision at all. Maybe it was a misclick. It could have been a misclick board.
Yeah, it's probably likely. That is not a ward.
Here
I don't know, maybe I was gonna say, like, maybe they're on some next level-ish, but that's not next level.
Oh. That's those moments when you sit there as a caster, like, maybe there is just something just not seeing, and this ward's gonna make perfect sense later on. I guess it's the position that Faceless Void would blink onto to prepare for a defense of the bottom tier 2 tower. And there's no way you'll expect vision in that spot. It's the only way I can see that.
The game is really tight right now, actually. It looks like Era's gonna be rushing for a Butterfly, by the way, which I don't mind.
Is it Butterfly or would it be Dragonlance?
Might be a Dragonlance, actually. That's a good point. Dragonlance makes more sense to me. You can't, evasion doesn't affect the ghosts, and his only real threat right now is, I think, the DP, more so than the OD, so I would prefer it if he goes Dragonlance over the Butterfly. Game is really tight right now. Gold's 1,000 in favor of Diggity, 2,000 XP, but I don't think that really matters. It's gonna come down to the catch. As I said, Diggity take a hero out before they get any abilities off, and for PR, are all of their heroes able to get their spells off? You know, DP ulti has to go off and do some work. Point needs to catch a couple heroes. Ags, by the way, on Taser, that is really fast.
Yeah, he doesn't know that Ags is up either. They're moving over. Syndra is the one getting a little bit close. He doesn't have didn't even want to use his swap straight away. Because it's too dangerous. Cheshire Cat, okay, when you got the Gust from Era, that'll do the job. Very quickly, answers your question, will they get an ability off? The answer is no. And Arise still on the run, the wave of terror. Here's the vision of Qualifier, just reaches Arise. This time he hits the lasso properly. And 2 big cores down for Power Rangers. With the Chen army up, that should be the death of the tier 2 tower on bot lane.
I did not realize how far Mkazu was. He just moved ahead of Death Prophet with that. And I don't even know how, man, because he's an Iron Talon Night Stalker, man. He just hit some grease this game, but I actually forgot to mention that because the Ags Night Stalker is a huge pickup. Like, we've talked about how important initiation was, and it's pretty impossible to not get it when you have an Ags Night Stalker and a Bat. So once he gets a gem, they'll actually just take total map control, but that was a really fast Ags. 20 minutes is not bad, so that's actually huge. Look at the vision he's getting now for his team.
It's a Dragon Lance as well, or that drove. Her range of the tower is crazy. I'm actually wondering now how PR initiate onto her. And you've already got the issues that Syndron has been providing through the swap. But when you see everything that's coming at you, how does PR even get that initial jump? The early warning system is literally a very tanky Night Stalker. Wondering too what else he builds into next. Do you try and find another saving mechanism, or do you just like become that front rower, that full tank?
I'm not sure. I think in this game,
I almost want to say like everything is for the glory of the Bat Rider as well as the Drove. As long as you can protect them, everything's fine. So I'm okay with the gem pickup. This is now just still Keizu playing division battle. But it's anything else that will cause problems.
They just need to clear all the words. Like, I actually forgot that Night Stalker, like, his role in this game. I should have given it more credit. I just didn't think he would have this strong of a game. And obviously they have a lot of towers, but I mean, I guess it's just a rush Ags, but still. They only have 3. It's just farm and jungle, man. Get that Iron Talent.
Dude, Diggity have run 3 heroes past this Dire Circle. Finally Keizu with the Agonist will actually see the bloody thing. But you've got double tornadoes. We've literally got Twister happening right now. Alright, to get the crap out of this game as the Qualifier, he finds the goddamn, he gets the lasso off on the OD, but he's not really going anywhere with it. They're still inside the pit underneath the exorcism, but the fight will continue, and now Era turns on the damage. The curse on to keep the Night Stalker around this fight. The Void is down and Arise is joining him. Era needs more damage, but he can't pump it off. The Spirit Siphon is keeping him away from Arise, and the Cold Embrace from J4 did all the work it required. But now in comes Qualifier again. They're still so low. There's no armor available. And the VS is the only one to die! Power Rangers, they will lose everyone, including Roshan. And this will now actually mean they do lose those tier 2 towers I pinged that before.
Wow, what happened to Void? Void just died at the start of the fight. I think Keizu might have silenced him, and then he just kind of died to the Firefly and maybe a couple of Drow clicks. But I mean, right there you saw like Era just straight up. Arise tried to run at him to just get rid of his aura, and in that time, he actually just died to auto attack. Like, yeah, Era does stupid amounts of damage right now, and once again, we're in a situation where it seems like it's just goddamn versus the world, man. Look at net worth right now. Like, I don't know how Cheshire Cat fell off so hard. He started 2-0 2. He's now 2-4 4. Again, I actually blame his Blink Dagger, man, because you don't accelerate at all with that item, and he just died in the Roche pit there. See, like, how do you really counter-initiate with no vision?
See, I still look at that situation, guy. I don't think there's anything else the Cheshire Cat could have done. If he had the Vlans, then yeah, maybe PR would have survived a little bit longer. But PR had everyone. Like, it was like boom, 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 boom. This is their lineup inside the pit. And Diggity had players here, one inside, one down here, and one over here. How do you find a chrono in this situation? You're always going to get swapped out. You're always going to have issues with Flamebreaker or other control items which Diggity is running. You almost feel like they've actually been out of build and itemized in this game.
Also, Chen finished his Ags off that fight. Like, Diggity just kind of won, man. Like, they're going to just high ground with this Aegis, and I don't know how the hell you stop them. Anta finished on Drow, so now he's got 3 sniper illusions that can hit towers from outside the range. And yeah, the Wyvern ulti also was like completely wasted there. Yep. If he uses it on Shen, Drow just kills him. Instead he uses it on a completely isolated Keizu. It's not like it used to be. You need to use that offensively for them to win this game. But Wyvern ulti is a kill in every single team fight if it's used properly, but a big problem right now is that the vision is just not there. So any hero on the outskirts of the fight, if it's not auto-attacking one of your allies, like you don't know it's there because your vision range is so limited during darkness. Like 675 vision range is, if we're looking bottom, it's like about this far. It's really not that much at all.
Okay, so your Power Rangers now. You know you're kind of in a screwed up position. You don't want to battle into an Aegis the Immortal. You may just have no choice. You have a 66-second window where it is daytime again. I feel like it's the only choice they've got is to 5-man down, you get the initiation, and you hope to God you get pickoffs. So we actually have... There's a buyback on the Batrider, Chen as well as Night Stalker, so there probably will be a defense anyway. Be split pushed. Okay, no, they can't do it. Thinking maybe you can force down a lane, you can force Diggity into a team fight during this daytime cycle, but it just doesn't exist. The Black Dragon did solid pushing on the top lane, forcing Goddamn to come back.
And Ags is so good. Also, I asked somebody, in that team fight, the Void just got silenced and Drow just hit him like 3 times and he died.
Okay.
So, I mean, that'll happen, but it just kind of comes down to positioning. Like, Void really shouldn't even be in the pit there. And again, if the Wyvern ults the Chen, not only does he save his Void, but then the Chen's dead, doesn't get his ulti off. So it's just play really. Silence up top. He's gonna see this probably.
Yeah, he will. That's his 10-second BKB, or 9-second BKB down.
Oh,
and they're BTing it more. Hey, that's nicely done by Big Num. He actually stopped the BTs from Qualifier that was coming in by enchanting the creep.
That was a daytime play. So now they push all the lanes. They know now PR's all in base. And Chen Creep's already pushing bottom. So that's perfect for them. They also forced the BKB. I think they can push out a couple lanes and go high ground with just killing Firefly in 20 seconds. Also to note, Qualifier with the Shadow Blade. I like that a lot, just to give them, it abuses the vision advantage they have from the Night Stalker, and it ensures they'll get the initiation, because he needs to get the Void, the DP, or the Wyvern. And preferably without them being Astral saved. Oh, Cinnamon's looking for a swap.
Yeah, he was looking for the swap or just looking for vision. Either way.
I will say, like, they are in a good position in that regard, just because both Void, Avenge and Bat have abilities to get the enemy into the line of fire of Drow. And if they can just do that, they will win the fight for sure.
Look how far Qualifier is in. There's the blink away from here, Qualifier. There's your blink last two. He's got Goddamn. And Cheshire Cat's too far away. He'll blink forward. He'll actually get a good Chronosphere off, but it's Synderen and Yamsor with a gust back. Synderen's even surviving through this. And Goddamn comes out of the imprisonment, still dead. So it's a 1-for-1 trade-off for Cheshire Cat now with no Chronosphere. He's jumping forward, trying to do anything with his time dilation. But all he does is die the damage of Era, whose blink is back off cooldown. He actually gets forced up into the blink, chasing out the J4. The Glimmer Cape will not protect it because you had a gem on the Night Stalker who was directly in front of you. The buyback comes out from the OD. Every lane is pushing. And again, the only casualty is a Vengeful Spirit. Power Rangers expending big ultimates. Not being able to defend.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Era, I don't think Era should even give a crap about that imprisonment. Hey, just look at it. He sits on the back, turns on the Mask of Madness. You get a couple of mishits uphill, that's not great.
Tower is under attack.
It's that tier 3 tower. Like, it's the ultimate siege. Direct damage from huge amounts of range. You got huge buffers that are also created by the Night Stalker's vision. Even his gust really screws with PR because they've got no jump. Blink into imprisonment is, I guess, actually the only other jump beyond the blink Chronosphere.
They needed a blink on the Wyvern as well. Like there was the lasso, and Wyvern starts flying forward, but he's just so slow, so it didn't actually accomplish anything. I just think they itemized it properly. The Void Blink has been completely worthless, and I think Wyvern needs one over that Glimmer Cape. Other thing, I feel like I might have misjudged certain aspects of the draft here, because what I didn't comment on was just the wave clear. PR really only has the Death Prophet that can effectively clear waves quickly, and he did not have a great game. Whereas Diggity has the Bat, 10 creeps now with the Ags, especially in the Drow. So in that situation, you saw, like, there were literally every lane was pressuring Dark's base, and it kind of demonstrates how, especially with the abuse of the vision they've had for 10 minutes now, Diggity could now have the top 4 net worths in this game. Like, they're not just winning the game, like they're I don't know, winning all capital letters, you know?
Yeah.
Tiger Blood energy drinks and shit like that. Like they're doing exactly what they need to do. It's just a very well executed game plan.
I actually thought Splitter Blast from J4 would have more of an influence for that counter push. I guess it's normally one of the primary reasons the Wyvern is picked up against the Den. Because you bring a huge army in and Splinter Blast mops most of it up.
It all starts with that first fight at the tier 1 mid tower. They lose a tower and 3 heroes for nothing, and it should not have been losses that heavy. You notice, like, as the game progressed, they were getting tower trades. It's how they actually won the first game, where a lot of towers... Oh, sorry, they lost the first game, but they were in it because of tower trades. Instead, they took a really bad fight with no DP ulti, and, oh, sorry, no Void ulti, and with DP being dead, and they just sort of died and gave the momentum to Diggity, and they just haven't looked back. And a lot of that's on the back of the Night Stalker Ags, man. Like, it's so hard to come back in a game. They have superior initiation and vision control and wave clear. So you can't even rat effectively because they can push lanes harder than you can.
Yep.
And it's actually just a really difficult situation to be in. You don't have a winning maneuver. You're banking on the other team making a mistake.
I actually still find it hilarious to damage the rest of Diggity can do. I think VS can almost be a core at this point. Syndron does, and he actually completes up the Aghanim Scepter. You've got the double Vengeful Spirit, and the VS is doing over 200 damage a hit. Like, VS right now physically could solo up J4 if he wants to. Force that Cold Embrace from something, and there's just a support Vengeful Spirit. The one who is probably the most fragile of them all. And with the Shiva's Guard from Batrider, there's even more teamfight control arriving from him. There's just so much saving graces that's here for Diggity. How do you stop this? The top lane's always going to keep pushing in. Qualifier comes to the top lane, also keep that momentum up. The Chen army has been continuously pushing in the bottom, so PR's just been bouncing from the top lane to the bottom lane, never really venturing out past where their tier 2 towers used to be. And they're all trying to get some level of armor and survive. Like, even Death Prophet put a Octarine Core on standby just to fight the Plate Mail. Goddamn, also going to be picking up the Plate Mail. This can be transitioned into other items, but now Diggity waiting for Roshan.
Just gonna wait for Roshan.
That's all.
Yep. And in the meantime, Koifa's just farming this entire area of the map as his team is just throwing the rest, and still PR just 5 heroes in base. And like, this is the essence of how to close the game out. You don't push high ground blindly. You don't go for smoke ganks. You keep the enemy team in the base, abuse vision advantage, shove all the lanes, and the game becomes unlosable.
Say that now.
Yeah.
I think we've proven, especially in a lot of the EU games that we've been casting of late, and some of the American games which I've been casting of late, that anything is losable.
Just once again, like, bring up the statistics from yesterday. PR went 2-1. Games they won, Arise was 12-0 and 15. The game they lost, they was 3-7 and 1. And it's sort of the same story in these games. I think they need to put more emphasis on mid, because he's truthfully just kind of losing his lane. And they can't, like, that just can't happen when they keep running these dual core lineups. One core can't just not accelerate. They need Arise to be the top of the network in some of these games to win. Also, there's a Daedalus on this one.
Not only Daedalus, but a double damage rune as well, and the first crit he gets on Roshan is 1337.
They need to, I would just love to see them go high ground and start hitting the base right now.
Oh yeah, they're going
Like,
to.
you want to push with this DD.
Yep.
He's hitting for 600 right now.
Yep. It's so amazing. And that's outside of the range of the VS aura. Actually, he cracks over the 600 when he's in range of VS. They're looking for any kind of target. Top lane, there it is. The jump in, they found a Rise. Nothing will save you from that. That was a 1400 crit era. The arrows almost kill him off, and that's actually a really good curse. I say the Druid Ranger, even if you do killer, it's still an Aegis Immortal. This is that whole losable situation that Diggity is trying to avoid. Arise bought back. Curse is down. Minute and a half. And Arise obviously having to expend even more money. Here they come again. Qualifier gets the mid lane
so
presence and then he'll move over. He's got 24 seconds until lasso.
I like this. I like this. Ira goes onto the high ground. You force them to react and make them. You never give a team time to breathe. You just start hitting racks and make them do something.
They found the real era. pinged it out. Orion's gonna get gusted pretty quickly, and now goddamn jumps forward, finds the Chen. Qualifier, who do you want to go on here? The Faceless Boy doesn't know if he wants to chrono this one. There's too many allies in the same radius as the heroes he wants to be killing off. Orion gets the ulti off, he's in the middle of the Firefly. Now the ulti will drop. Heroes Aegis will be triggered off by the OD, and this damage from the Impetus of Vignum is just not doing enough work. Syndra even swapped it back in. There's just done, and there's your GG. Man, I felt so sorry for Cat. I was looking at him at the start of that fight to see who he could get, and then all of PR basically jumped on top of Diggity. He's like, well, good luck, boys. This is so hard. And it is game. Diggity 2-0 up now on this best 5.
Well played. They just look like the better team, to be honest. Strategies seem to be more polished, and they're just executing their game plans effectively. They're hitting their timings right. They're not forcing movements, and I think PR just needs to, I don't want to say play better. They just need more unison in their team. They're just not playing Team Dota right now, and Diggity's abusing